What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode here on the O'Shea Duke Jackson channel. I'm back on it here with another collaboration. We're here with Brother George Macon from the Urban Nerds YouTube channel. I'll let him go ahead and introduce himself and what his channel is about.
Peace, family. Well, the Urban Nerds channel is about bringing Black intelligence back to the Black community. For a while on YouTube, I heard a lot of brothers come and say that Black intelligence is not celebrated in the Black community. We celebrate the thugs and the gangsters and the hip hop scene, but we don't celebrate brothers graduating from college. We celebrate brothers coming from prison. So I decided, instead of making videos about that stuff, I decided to do something about it. So I created my nonprofit in efforts of taking kids from urban areas on college tours. We created a robotics club with Drexel University. We go into the prisons to speak. We're just doing different things to try to make a difference and bring intelligence back to the community. So we named our 501c3 nonprofit Urban Nerds Worldwide. And that's the channel. And then we also had the George Macon Experience channel. So outside of this YouTube stuff, when we have these YouTube arguments, it's actually brothers out that's doing real work on the ground, man, doing real things, man. We want to develop and make our Black boys be the best version of themselves.
All right, brother. And I definitely appreciate, you coming on here today. And me and you, we're personal friends. We've been friends for a long time now on the social media space. And you have what I would call an oblique view. Your view typically sits on a different tangent than everybody else, especially people here in the manosphere community, and that is especially concerning stuff like relationships, Black men who are with single mothers and things like that. And the most controversial figure, I believe, in the last 2 to 3 years has been like Russell Wilson. And you called me the other day and you was like, a lot of brothers need to stop calling Russell Wilson a simp. And I thought that was interesting because he is married to CIARA, who has made by Future and is kind of known in the industry, been around with a lot of guys, stuff like that, partying, hanging out. Why do you say that Russell Wilson is not a simp?
Well, number one, Russell Wilson is not a simp because it goes against the argument of what the manosphere has been laying out for years. Russell Wilson is an educated Black man, highly successful. He's not a thug, not a gangster. He's not in the tabloids for extramarital affairs, cocaine in the car, none of that kind of stuff. Russell Wilson is a very hard worker. I see him as an alpha male. He's very intelligent, and he works. He's undersized for the position that he plays in the NFL. And he's the best version of himself and one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's the actual decent Black man that the manosphere speaks about. To go after him in a manner in which some people done actually just water down the arguments that some of the manosphere brothers have. That's legitimate arguments. You can't attack him.
Well, let me ask you this, because a guy like Russell Wilson, don't get me wrong, CIARA, we know that she sold a lot of albums. She was a great singer. But a guy like Russell Wilson, Super Bowl winning quarterback, obviously he had his first wife, it didn't work out. But why would a guy like Russell Wilson get with someone like CIARA, who is a single mom, even though she is famous and, stuff like that? Why would he put himself in a position? Because some guys want to know. He could have done, he could have did much better than that. He has a lot of opportunities, a lot of different women. He could get with somebody that didn't have any children and start his own family with somebody instead of raising somebody else's child. What do you say to people that say that?
That's their opinions, but a lot of times I like to know the personal lives of some of these people that's making those comments online that we don't know. It's funny that a lot of people are saying that, but we don't know nothing about them, where they come from, who they are. A lot of these people that's running their mouth. One thing I know Black people, and we like to run our mouth and talk. And a lot of these dudes that's making those assessments actually have children by women that they ain't with either. So my thing is, it's not, to me, that's not the argument. That shouldn't be the argument. The argument should be, are they becoming the best version of themselves while they're together? The thing is, she wasn't a bum chick in the project. She was a woman that sold 20 million records, hard worker, toured the world, sang, doing what she's supposed to do. She had a baby by Future, okay? But since she's been married to Russell Wilson, They haven't been in the tabloids for extramarital affairs. It was when he was with that white. How come nobody talk about that? She was the one that was accused of sleeping with his teammate, not the black woman. To me, it seemed like she's leveled her stuff up and became better. They're not in the newspapers for unruly, with her being unruly and none of that kind of stuff. They got 2 children. They look happy to me. I mean, if anything, the manosphere and decent black brothers should be using that to their advantage. Just saying, when women get with brothers like us, look how they become. But a lot of these brothers ain't that smart. They don't know how to use things. They don't know how to tactically use things to bolster their arguments. Because we got many examples of women getting with so-called Pookies and Ray Rays and being wild and out of control. We see it. Tommy Sotomayor and my brother from Chicago. They play those videos all the time of these unruly women with unruly men. But now you got an actual woman that was a single mom that got with a decent black man, and she's behaving decently and they're happy. And these stupid niggas attack him and not even use that to their advantage to bolster the argument. That's the problem I had, because I'm telling you, like I told you on the phone, I would be a hypocrite to come on here and say, as a black man from one of the blackest cities in America, to say that some of the things that I've said here, Kevin Samuels and y'all say is wrong. I'm not going to say that. There's a lot of things that you guys bring to the table that's correct. But when you got a black man that fits the criteria of what y'all speak about, and he marries this woman, and they have a good, strong foundation, and they look happy, how do you disrespect that? Sometimes some things is best. You know what? I'm not even going to speak on that, because she with him, and she's behaving right. She's behaving right. So what it does is it actually makes the manosphere arguments even stronger. When you get with decent men like us, look at what we produce. Look at what we can change. But a lot of these brothers, that's why it should be some rank and file and order in the manosphere where everybody shouldn't be running their mouth and talking. Just going rogue.
Let me ask you this, because we had a conversation the other day when I was in the mall. I think the conversation was built around the idea that a lot of black men are looked at. Well, I mean, obviously men do serve, especially in communities, no matter what community you're in. But, a lot of black men are looked at as objects to bail people out of situations, not even as persons. You're a black man, get up and go take care of what mama needs you to do, what your girlfriend wants to do. It doesn't matter what you want. And in other communities, it's not so much like that. And I'm coming back to the point that, a lot of guys like, let's just say Russell Wilson, there's the argument that CIARA just looking at him as he's the good guy, because she had her fun with 50 Cent, Bow Wow, and Future. And he's the fallback guy that's supposed to be there after she's done what she wanted to do. And then the idea is if the woman gets with him, a guy like him, right? And Russell Wilson could represent, a lot of different African-American men. It could be the good brother that's the truck driver, the brother that's the lawyer, the brother that's the straight electrician. He's the guy that she wasn't really interested in at first, but now since she's, had her fun and understood that those guys are not there, he's just the object there, and she's never going to respect him, and she's going to always want a guy like Future or a guy in the streets. What would you say to, and a lot of black men are going to be like, well, look, he's just being used as an object because he's not really what she really wants. What would you say to guys that have that perspective?
Those black men need to stop doing the things that women do, applying their pain or their past experience onto other people. The thing is this, that logic don't apply to her based off of manosphere logic, because she's not 45, 38 years old with a bunch of kids coming off. She did things, her life played out in the thing at a young age. She did things young. She met him young. They're still young doing the things. They're not in their 40s. He's not retired. He's still in the prime of his career. So she did things young, met him young. The argument is these women are living their lives, and then they come 36, 37 years old. When I wanted you 15 years ago, you ain't want me. Now you come with no value, 200 pounds overweight, and a bunch of kids, and you want me. That don't apply to her. That don't apply to her. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's legitimate arguments, but we got to know where to place those arguments. And when you where black men are already under a microscope for every damn thing, you got to be calculated in the things that you do in public and say, because we're scrutinized for everything. So now when you attack a decent brother like a Russell Wilson, it's not going to turn out and look good in our favor. And intelligent black men in the manosphere should know that. Should say, whoa, wait a minute. We might can go at this guy, but don't ease up, because I could see if they had something in the tabloids where they got poured over them with some weed or cocaine in the car or something. They don't got none of that. It's squeaky clean, pretty much with them. So what are you doing? So then, so now he's playing the game with his wife, not his or a side chick, his wife, whom they have 2 children by. And he says that his big greatest fear is losing you. And men got a problem. Men are speaking on that and got a problem with that. In communities where men have a problem with even letting their emotions or being able to communicate and talk. Always communicating with the communities we come from is killing each other or disrespecting each other. So a black man is professing his love for a black woman, and these dudes is jumping out in front of it, speaking on that in a negative way. That makes us, for communities that look at all of us as the same, that makes us look bad. That's stupid. There's a lot of brothers that you can go at that we can talk about, and I won't say, but I'm not. You can't disrespect Russell Wilson, because he represents some of the best. He represents the best of us. I'm just saying.
So, but let me ask you this though, George, because even I understand women that are 38 or 40. But there is this idea, because you know how some women are. Let's be honest. CIARA, not only is she probably a woman that Russell Wilson, in my opinion, I think Russell Wilson was always a fantasier. Yeah. So, when she became available, then, he already liked her, was already a fan of her music, thought she was very beautiful, stuff like that. He probably grew up, as a fan of hers. But CIARA is also very attractive. Let's just be honest. She's a very beautiful woman. Yeah. Extremely good looking. She was a superstar. But then what some women will do is they'll try to play that in their mind like, oh, well, CIARA did it. So then I can go out and, I can mess with this guy, and this guy. I can have the same outcome as CIARA. And we know that it's not true. Like, if we listen to Kevin Samuel's show, on Instagram lives every night, you hear a lot of people. He
uncover a whole bunch of
right. You didn't even tell me your wife you listen to him, right? So yes. Everybody listens. People got all over the world listening to Kevin Samuels now, and you just hear the entitlement that is so much stronger from women in the black community than anywhere else. And so a lot of brothers in the manosphere is saying, well, listen, if one of our best guys, Russell Wilson, and I understand that CIARA is very attractive, of course. I understand that she's telling us she's a singer. Nobody's knocking that. But the rest of the ladies are going to feel, if she can do it, I can do it. Even though
I'm with you, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, when you have a guy like Russell Wilson, and they don't have the messiness in their marriage that people can pinpoint, it's best to leave it alone and don't speak about it.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Because we're going to be looked at as negative, because then all the tabloids are going to say is, oh, these black men are hating again. These black men. And I'm like, no, that's not T.I. and Tiny. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like you gotta pick your battles and your poison. I mean, even that's why I came here and I said there's legitimate gripes that brothers have, but you got to be tactical in the way that you attack in public. You can't go attack Russell Wilson, and they don't have that type of marriage. They don't have them type of marital problems that we see for you to be attacking. You can't attack him for saying that he professes love for his woman. That's stupid. His wife, whom they have 2 children, whom he not with just Future's child, they have 2 children together now. No, that's stupid. That's not smart. It's not smart.
George, let me kind of take it back, because I know that you're from Philadelphia, and Philadelphia, places like Chicago, Philadelphia, DC, those are also big cities for the Nation of Islam. And this is Black History Month. El Hajj Malik Shabazz, we know, formerly known as Malcolm X. He was a brother that, like Apostle Paul in the scriptures, had some problems and then, changed his life dramatically to where, we talk about Malcolm X at the highest level of respect because a person that went from one spectrum to another. And we certainly see people, that have changed their lives around. You see brothers in the black community, one thing and something different.
Right.
But there's this notion that women don't have the ability to change like men do, because once they're imprinted by a kind of guy that they like or a certain community, that a lot of times if you try to go in and put those women, now the only group of people I've ever seen get that accomplished on a regular basis is the Nation of Islam. They're the only kind of people that I've ever seen, and it could be others.
You know how they did it?
Yeah, how they do
it? They leveled the man up. The focus wasn't primarily on the woman, it was the man. The man understands the barriers of communities. The men leveled up. Women show up when men level up, when men do what they got to do. See, something Kevin Samuels said yesterday, I was watching a show where they were saying like men are not civilized, but men civilize the societies. Like every right and everything that we have, men have created these things to make women comfortable. Men created these things so they can have access to sex. Women have rights because men gave them rights. We don't live in a lawless society just where women just can't walk outside and get grabbed and rape every woman. No. So the thing is, the Nation of Islam was able to do it because they begin to build men up and have standards. And you got women that's a part of it. You got women that's not. Every woman ain't gonna come and be a part of the program or be down. You're not here. You can't save everybody. You can only work with the women that's going to work within the paradigm that you create. It's just the way it goes, man. And that's all I'm saying. So my thing is, I was listening to some of the arguments that brothers were saying. Well, this woman was that. Well, guess what? Listen, nobody's perfect. We do things. I get it. You don't want to create the narrative that women can, like you said, run wild, and then they set the example that she could just go get this man. Well, guess what? If it ain't meant to work, it ain't gonna work. Because if she ain't willing to change, mature, and get herself together, she gonna be the same person in that marriage than she was prior to getting married. It all depends on it. That's why I'm saying that now CIARA's married to this guy. They don't have the issues in the tabloids, so why are you speaking on it? Because if she gonna be a bitch that don't want to change, she gonna be a bitch in the marriage, and the marriage is gonna have trouble, and then it's gonna give you all the ammunition you want to say, see, this is why we're saying what we're saying. You understand what I'm saying to you, O'Shea?
Yeah, I understand. But let me kind of go back to, sorry, my thing was on mute. Let me go back to this and ask a greater. Let's try to solve the black community's problems here outside of, using Russell Wilson as the example. Okay.
Well, let me just ask you this before you do that, right?
Sure.
Let me ask you this. Because Russell Westbrook is married to a black woman, right? Okay. So if Russell Wilson come on TV and say, "Baby, I love you," if our marriage was to fail, my world would crash in. Black men would disrespect him and call. You
mean Russell Westbrook or Wilson?
Russell Westbrook. I'm using black men that's married to black women. If he was to say, "Baby, I love you," mind you, not his side hoe, not a chick, his wife, right? She's a Westbrook. "Baby, I love you. If I lose you, my world will crash in." What about Grant Hill and his wife? What if Grant Hill come on in and say, "Baby, we've been getting together for years." So black men are not allowed to express emotion towards their wife without ridicule from black men. So now we got to worry about black men killing each other in society, black men not working together in society, the system not treating black men right. We're not respected by our women. And now when you profess love for your wife, okay, well, you know what? She had a little checker past, but this is his wife. This is his wife. He's a black man, a decent black man. He professes love. He got to worry about black men disrespecting him too.
Well, I think that, see, in the other cases though, it's not the same example as Russell Wilson. You
talking about him though. See, this is what I'm saying to you.
But if it's Russell Wilson, the other guys, Westbrook, Grant Hill, Tamia Hill, nobody would say anything about that. I think for the fact that because of the past.
But let me ask, but watch though. This is what I'm saying. See, I think because now you're making my point. Their lives is played out in the media. We don't know their past like that. Them girls could have been hoes too.
Right.
We don't know. We don't know that. We don't. All we know. See, that's what I'm saying. That's the unfairness. That's why I said because we don't know. Because he's a decent black man and she linked up with a decent black man and she's behaving decently. Keep your mouth off of it. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. You should actually use that to strengthen the manosphere argument instead of using it to weaken you. I would have turned, if I was manosphere, I'd have turned around and said, see, she got with a decent man and look what it did to her. Look what it did for her in her life. She was with Pookie and Ray Ray and look at all the turmoil she was going through. She came over to our side and look what happened. That's what I was using it for.
Okay, so let me ask you this then, George. Okay, so the point well taken. But do you think now, because if you think about what, and we talk about it, not only do we know, because you're from Philadelphia, okay? Now, there is some truth, don't get me wrong. Like, if you're a guy that's not let's say the Pookie and Ray Ray archetype or something like that, there is some character that you need to have that shows charisma, swag. You know, black women like a certain type of guy that has a certain level of entertainment. Usually, not all the time, but usually, no matter where you go, okay? So, do you think most African-American women, I know CIARA is one of them, but guys that are like Russell Wilson, you've heard Russell Wilson talk, he's a good brother. Is there a market for black men like Russell Wilson in the black community where young, hot, attractive black women want them? You believe so?
Yes.
Okay, explain that.
See, I think one thing I know from going to different cities.
Okay.
I think I'm spoiled because I grew up in Philadelphia.
Sure.
Like Philadelphia, New York City, Washington, D.C., with its large communities of black people. You go to other cities, it's not like that. I mean, like we got whole neighborhoods where it's like 1.8 million people. There's probably 1 million black people in a city. So everybody black is not a gangster or Pookie and Ray Ray. You got thousands of black people here in Philadelphia that's educated, that's not lames, that get the same chicks we get. I grew up seeing this. That's why I'm like, some of these arguments, I'm like, I don't know where you live at. Because if you live in D.C., Philly, I got homies from the hood that ain't sell coke, but they from the same block I'm from. They know how to talk that same talk I talk. It's the same thing. They went to school, they went to college, they got access to the same chicks. No, man, it depends on where you live. Because if you live in Chicago, Philadelphia, Baltimore, everybody in Baltimore ain't thugs and gangsters. You got thousands of black men in college.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's banging the same chicks, man. That's making money, man. It's a lot. I tell you, some of y'all that live in other cities where it's not a lot, where it's not predominantly black, come to black cities. Go to Houston. Go to Dallas, man. Now I will say, to be honest, why I created Urban Nerds, because a lot of black intelligence is not celebrated like it should in the hood, right? But that doesn't mean that those black men don't have access to those women. Those two different arguments. Because I got homies that's from Southwest. They might not have been in the dope game, but they grew up in the same hood. They got the same cadence, the same swag. Every black man that go to school ain't no damn nerd that don't know how to talk to women.
Okay. So George, let me kind of dial it back, because Russell Wilson, obviously his dad, I believe,
is Iranian. His mom was black.
Iranian, mom was black. So Russell Wilson didn't grow up. Right. So we're talking about those. So guys like me, I'm from Del Paso Heights. I'm 2 classes away from medical school, but I'm a nigga. I mean,
stay right there. You making my point. What I'm saying is, you from Sacramento,
right?
I'm from Philadelphia. It's thousands of black men in Philadelphia that's like you in North Philly, South Philly, Germantown, Logan, all over. They are cousins, our brothers. They don't sell coke. They brothers sell coke, but they from the block.
Right. But see, here's the thing. What about the brothers that are like Russell Wilson, who ain't like me, who ain't like you? You see?
They're there. What I'm saying
and Russell Wilson didn't grow up like we did.
I get it.
Because you can drop me in Philadelphia, I'm gonna be all right. You know what I mean? You can drop you in the Heights, you'd be all right, because we both niggas.
I get it.
But he'll be lost.
But what I'm saying is, most of these brothers in the manosphere that's bringing these arguments to the table ain't Russell Wilson. That's why I said it don't apply. That's why I said with these arguments, most of these guys on here is like you.
Yeah, okay, but a lot of them are like me. But you do have a market for guys that are not. A lot of black men grew up in, you know, you look at Washington State. You have some brothers that grew up in Idaho. Some brothers grew up in, you know, went to schools where they wasn't, you know, a lot of black, a lot of, and also too, you have, you know, we call them emerging blacks. You know, it's the people that come from Nigeria first generation, Jamaica first generation.
A lot of them dudes ain't checking for black women either, though. They checking for women in the environment they came from.
But what the thing about it is but why? Because some of them have tried. So that's what I'm saying. Is there a market? Is there a market for black men who are like Russell Wilson? That means they come up. Okay, explain how that. I mean, not from. What's the market? Is the market better for guys like me and you, or is the market as good for guys like them who didn't grow up around?
I mean, the market for the most part, man. Listen, man, because that's how I know a lot of dudes.
Tell the truth.
You different. No, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of dudes don't travel or never got money. Because when you got access to resources, you can get any woman you want, as long as you can place yourself in certain places like that. The problem is most men don't know how to talk to women or make themselves available to women. That's the problem. A lot of men think that because they got education that it's supposed to just happen poof for them like that. That don't happen in no ethnic groups. You have to make yourself available, man. You have to be there. I mean, it just is what it is. Now, what I'm saying is, in the black community, we don't celebrate a lot of our great achievers like we should. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that we do, because I know that we don't. Right. But what I'm saying is, when you are a man in the communities where there's limited resources, and you have resources, you actually have access to those women. A lot of men just don't know how to. A lot of men might not have a certain swag, or might not have a certain way where because it's the same thing in the white community. You got the dork, the dweeb, the Peter Venkman type white dudes that don't get hot chicks. They had the same arguments. The cool white dudes get the chicks. Now they might not have man. That's a whole nother argument.
Well, where you about to go with that one? Where you about to go with that one?
Nah, I ain't going there. I ain't gonna go there on that one. That's a whole different argument. But I'm just saying. Eat to the lame or the dork. And every community has a problem really getting hot chicks. Okay. They make movies about this shit. Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah. Porky's, and they listen, Weird Science and all that shit. They have problems with hot chicks too. Like come on now. The only difference is and we don't give barbecues, we don't celebrate the black intelligence the way we should. That's the issue that we have. But each community, their dorks have a problem getting hot chicks. So,
no, that's true.
So the problem is Russell Wilson is people is looking at Russell Wilson as the dorky guy. And how could he possibly get a CIARA? She got to be using him. But that's not always true, because he see, this is the thing why I don't apply. Russell Wilson may be a dorky guy, but he's an alpha male. How many you know out there can get on that football field and do what he do amongst men? Undersized. He got something inside of him. That
he's a hell of a quarterback.
Goddamn right. He's smart, and he's a little guy, and he's a beast amongst men. So he's actually an alpha. Yeah. They got him in the wrong category. Why? Because he might not have the swag you think he should have, but he got other components.
He got Super Bowl winning swag. He got Super Bowl winning swag for sure.
What I'm talking. That's what I'm making my point. That's why I said. Now I'm glad you said that. All I'm saying to my brothers is, if you smart, which we are supposed to be as men, logical and observers, you know when to apply certain arguments, because we are already scrutinized for everything that we do. You cannot scrutinize this brother in public like that when he doesn't have the rap sheet to be scrutinized. And then he gets with a woman that may have had a little checkered past, but now when she gets with him, she's becoming the best version of herself. It makes your argument look bad. You can scrutinize T.I. and Tiny, but why would you go after him because he told his woman he loved her? I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna leave that alone. But some of the stuff, man, is just it shouldn't be. You can say, well, she did this, so what? Okay, so let's see all your past and what you've done. But my thing is, if she don't need him to survive. What I'm saying is, she already had a talent that would be able to feed her and her child. She even dumbed down her pop career, where she could be touring the world, to be submissive and have his children and be under him, and you still got a problem with it.
And
she ain't trying to be a feminist. She ain't trying to be a feminist and saying me and I need to do this. She at home chilling with the babies. She could be touring the world. So obviously it had to be something about him that made her say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna sit it on down, man. I'm good. I'm gonna sit it on down. And I ain't gonna get no sex allegations. The white chick he had did. CIARA ain't the one that's accused of sleeping with Golden Tate. His white wife was.
No. You right about that, and you made a good point. Ayesha Curry is the one that's actually thotting it up.
And she don't have the pass. She don't even have the checker pass.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say to my brothers, because I know a lot of our people, man, or a lot of our people sick. They'll come on here, they're gonna attack me for actually trying to protect black men in the public. Because I'm well traveled. I haven't been to Africa, but I'm well traveled. I'm doing well financially. And I'm a thinker. I understand that the way we're disrespected in society. And you got to be strategic in the way that you do things. You got to step back sometimes and look at it. Ayesha Curry don't have the background. She all in there want to be naked and want to just do provocative stuff. CIARA come from that and chilled all that out to be submissive to her husband. So he says, well, my greatest fear is losing you and I love you, and he get attacked for it. We can't do that. Because then we give other people ammunition to say, look at them black men. They hate their women. They even hate a brother that love a woman. And we just give them more ammunition. Can't do that, man. We got to be smarter in the way we move it, man. It's a time for everything. It's a season and time for everything. And that's why I use the other scenarios of other black men that's in the public eye that's married to black women that we don't know about. And what it does is we send a wrong message to other black men that might want to be emotional or want to be loving towards their woman, where now it's not cool because they're going to be ridiculed by other black men who probably don't even want to be married in the first place. So they shouldn't even be speaking. A lot of these dudes want to be SYSPM. So why you even care about what Russell Wilson is doing? That's not your business. I'm just saying.
Hell, well, you guys make some interesting points, man. Tell everybody else about your channel, man. What you're going to be doing on the channel, stuff like that.
Yeah, like I said, we're going to be, the COVID had messed up a lot of stuff. So we're going to be going to, like I said, taking these kids on college tours. We're working out getting this, these grants and this money where we're going to be, we're going to do a black college tour. We're going to take kids from urban areas. And Philadelphia has a lot of colleges. You have a lot of colleges like Temple University, Drexel University, University of Penn, that are set right in urban areas. And these kids walk past these colleges and will never see the inside of a college. And I'm a firm believer, because I'm a product of this. The optics, when you start introducing the mind to different things that they would have never been exposed to, you start to change your dreams and begin to think different things. If you just exposed to the hood way of living, then that's what you manifest. So we want to get our kids into the trades, because everybody's not going to go to college. So we're working on getting scholarships to get our kids to the trades, drive trucks, do different things, man. We want to get black men productive, thinking productive, and being the best versions of themselves. So I told the police commissioner here in Philadelphia, when I had the opportunity to talk to her, do you want urban shooters or urban nerds? You got to pick it. So we're actually going to the Academy of Natural Sciences the second week in March. And I'm gonna have about 15 kids, and we're gonna have 2 police officers in uniform that I actually train with every day. They're gonna accompany us there. So, we're working with the community. We're doing different things, man, off of YouTube. I've been married for 16 years, but I'm trying to be the example of everything that I talk about. Not just talk it, be about being about it, doing the work. On my George Making Experience channel, I have 960. I need 40 more for 1,000 to get to 1,000. I do a lot of videos on it with me and my son, interactions to show black men that may not have great relationships with their sons, great relationships with their moms. I try to put the energy out there with me and my son, where maybe you pick up the phone and you call your son. You try to get better relations with your son, because it's important that we're in our son's lives, man, teaching. So I try to use YouTube as a weapon to build to build morale of the black community and build the morale of black men. Because right now we complain for years about how our image was being disrespected by the other groups. Now with social media, we have the ability to control our own image, and we actually weaponizing it against ourselves again. So I'm trying to do something different, man. So, you guys can come to www.Urban Nerds Worldwide, man, and you can donate, you can support, you can come to the Urban Nerds channel, man, and man, you can come help us out because we doing something. I don't care if you don't like me. You ain't gotta like me. That's fine. You don't know me, but I'm doing something productive for young men. So help me.
All right, guys. So again, I really thank Brother George for coming on and having this conversation. Good topic, great topic, guys. Make sure that you go check out his channel, Urban Nerds Worldwide, and the George Making.
And remember, O'Shea, in closing, O'Shea, because and you know this, I'm just telling brothers, I'm not saying that you don't have a right to your opinion. Your opinion is your opinion on the way you see it. But O'Shea noticed, be strategic in the way that you do things. Step back and think before you just run out there, because then you give other people room to attack. Just think about certain things. Remember, look at what Aisha Curry's doing. And she don't have the background. This woman has this past, but she done dumbed her whole career down to be submissive to her husband because she got with a so-called educated lane. That's a win for y'all. Use your brain. It's a win-win, because that means that you actually do have the ability, when you got your shit together, to change things. You could control the narrative if you want to, because he didn't have to choose her if he didn't want. He could tell her, but she submitted to him. Okay, are you capable of having that happen? That's the $1 million question, O'Shea. You educated brothers out there, are you capable of having it happen? If you don't want it to happen, then it shouldn't be nothing that you're speaking on, because you don't care. That's all I'm saying. It's not y'all didn't lose. It's a win-win for you. I'm done.
Brother, thank you again for the great show, guys. Check out the first comment pinned at the top. You'll see Brother George Making's YouTube channel information. And guys, I do thank you for your support. I really appreciate you for all that you do. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. Get your Urban Nerds t-shirt. We out.
Hoodie.